Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. So this session is all about the fundamentals of HTML. So I welcome you all to our HTML fundamental class. So myself Dr. Sandrilla, I'll be the instructor for this learning journey. So before we dive into the exciting world of web development, let me share a bit about what you can expect from this class. Our class is all about demystifying the language that forms the backbone of every web page you have ever visited. HTML or Hypertext Markup Language is the foundation of the web. So it's what allows us to structure the content, add images, create links, and so much more. By the end of this course, you'll have a solid grasp of HTML and the confidence to start creating your own web pages. So throughout our sessions, we'll be covering everything from the basic structure of an HTML document to more advanced concepts. And our approach will be interactive and hands-on, and it will give you a learn through coding exercises. So whether you're an absolute beginner or have some prior experience, this class is designed to cater all skill levels. So I'm here to support you every step of the way. Remember, learning HTML is like learning a new language, and just like any language, practice that makes everyone perfect. So be prepared to have some fun while you are at it. Okay, so let's go deeper. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you what is HTML. Okay, so HTML is a short or acronym of Hypertext Markup Language. Okay, it is a core language of World Wide Web. Okay, and it defines the content and basic structure of web pages and web applications. So actually, this was first published by Tim Berners-Lee in the year 1989. He is a person who published. The person published is Tim Berners-Lee in 1989, and HTML is now used by almost all websites. 94% of websites are probably using this HTML code, and all the ones you visit, whatever web pages you visit, but what it is exactly. So that is what we are going to learn here. So as mentioned, HTML acronym is Hypertext Markup Language. Let's break this down to better understand what actually HTML means. Okay, so hypertext. So this is a text on a web page that contains references to another page. So this is nothing but it gives a reference to another page. You probably know these as hyperlinks. So we use hyperlinks just to jump from one section to the same page or a different page or on a current website or on a completely new website. So this hyperlinks can also open a PDF, or it can open an email, or it can open a multimedia file or a video or audio file, etc. So linking information together in this way was a revolutionary step in building the web. So together HTML and the internet make it possible for everyone to access all types of information around the world in any order that they wanted. Okay, so that is the beauty of this hypertext. So moving to markup, so this refers to how HTML marks up the page with annotations within the HTML file. So that will be given in here, and these annotations are not displayed on the web page itself. Rather, they work behind the scenes, telling the browser how to display the document to the visitor. So we will learn more about this markup. And finally, we have this language. So this is the simplest part of the acronym to understand, like any language. So HTML has a unique syntax and alphabets, but what kind of language is it exactly? So let's tackle this question next, okay? So I wanted to know, is an HTML a programming language? Okay, since we have told that it is a hypertext markup language, so we want to know whether an HTML is a programming language. HTML is programming language or not? It is technically a programming language. Whether HTML is or not technically a programming language, it is an ongoing debate among many web developers and experts. While the majority defines that this HTML as a markup language and not a programming language. And some argue that they aren't mutually exclusive. All programming languages have some functional purpose. They need to do something, whether it be evaluating expressions or declaring variables or modifying data. Okay, so JavaScript is most widely used as programming language in web development. Other programming languages, as we know, Python, Java, or C, all these are called as programming languages. Though it's very useful, HTML doesn't really do anything in this sense. It simply gives the browser the content it needs to display, and it doesn't care how the browser is going to display the content as long it's displayed. In other words, we can also say that this HTML has a structural purpose and not the functional one. So still some developers use the same logic to argue that HTML is a programming language or it is a declarative programming language. Okay, so according to some professor from the University of Nottingham, and he declared that it is a declarative language and are more restricted than any other languages, but doesn't make them any less on of a programming language. Okay, so with that mind, let's move on to what HTML is used for. Okay, so our next question is, what is HTML used for? Primarily, this is used for creating web pages. Ultimately, this is used for creating the web pages. Okay. And HTML is free to use and ensures your text or images and other elements are displayed as intended. So with HTML, not only you can add headings or paragraphs or lists or other elements to your page, you can also embed images, videos, audio files, multimedia, and you can also link to another web page on the same website from one to another. And this allows the visitor to easily navigate your website and jump between the websites. Okay, even after adding headings or images and hyperlinks, you would still have a very basic web page that's by design. So HTML is purely for the content of a page. It is purely for creating the web pages. It creates a simple base upon which you can add styling with another languages. Okay, so this HTML is used to, basically it is used to create the web pages, and it can make tables or organizing data. Okay, and these are the additional things that HTML has been used for. Okay, so now let's break down the process next, how to write an HTML. So we came to know what is HTML and who published HTML and whether HTML is a programming language or declarative language and what is the use of HTML. So next comes is how to write an HTML program. So this comes into the language very deeper. How to write an HTML program. So compared to other coding languages, HTML is relatively easy to read and understand. It is very easy to read and understand the language, and it's essentially plain English text with the extra symbols here and there. That's it. Okay. So when we are writing an HTML code, the main building block of HTML web page is an element. This is very important that everybody have to remember always, that while writing an HTML coding, it is very important to know that the main building block of an HTML web page is an element. This is very important. An element is a unit of information. This element tells the web browser what to render for the viewer. An element could be a piece of text like a paragraph, an interactive item like a button, or a section of a page like a header or footer. Okay, here's what a basic element looks like. So how it looks like written out in HTML. This element is called a button element, or it creates a button on the screen, or it uses, or it is one that where users can click with the mouse. Okay, so that is what is HTML element. So before diving into HTML elements, it is certainly important to know what are the editors that are useful, or what are the editors that we use to write an HTML code. So this HTML editors are some software tools used to create and edit HTML files. Okay, so this HTML editors are some software tools used to create and edit HTML files for the web development, and these editors offer features that help developers write and manage HTML code more efficiently. Okay, so certainly we use one such editor that we use here is Notepad. So it is a simple text editor that comes pre-installed on Windows operating system. So while it might not have the advanced features of dedicated code editors, it can still be used to create and edit HTML files for basic web development. Okay. So here's how you can use Notepad as a simple HTML editor. So to begin with, first you should know, first step that you have to follow is opening a notepad. This is the first step that we have to follow, opening a notepad. So you can open notepad by searching for it in the Windows start menu, or by also pressing Win plus R, or typing notepad. You can and entering it, you can open a notepad very easily. Okay, so the very shortcut is Win plus R. Okay, so this is the first step that you have to follow to write an HTML code. And the second important step is creating a new HTML file. So first I have to create a new, second I have to create a new HTML file. So to create a new HTML file, initially you have to open a notepad, and then you have to type or paste the HTML code into the window. Okay, so that is the second step that has to be followed. Okay, this is the second step that has to be followed. And the third one is, after typing or after pasting your HTML code, one has to save a file, HTML file. Okay, only after saving it we can run a file in the browser. Okay, so after writing your HTML code, you will need to save the file with the very important thing is that you have to save it with .html. This is the procedure that you have to save it. Okay, so the .html extension is very important when you save your file. So go to file and so yeah, I'm just clicking it here. Go to file and top left corner of the notepad you will have a save as. Choose the location, click on the save as, and then a window opens saying that you have to choose the location, and in the file name field enter the name for your file followed by .html. Okay, in the save as type drop down, select all the files and click the save button. So this is the third thing that you have to do. Once your HTML file is created, the file has to be saved. And then the fourth thing that you have to follow is, after saving it, if it is necessary to be edited, okay, editing your HTML file, later simply open the notepad, go to file, and the same thing, you have to go to file and click on open and navigate it to your HTML file and select it. You can then make your edits and save the file again. Okay, so this is the fourth step that we have to follow. And the fifth step that we have to follow is viewing. Okay, viewing your HTML file. So you can view the HTML file you have created in a web browser by double clicking on the file. The browser you will render the HTML content showing you how your web page will appear online. Okay, it's very important note that while Notepad is a basic option for creating and editing HTML files, it lacks features like syntax highlighting and auto-completion that would find in more advanced code editors. Okay, and if you plan to work on more complex projects or require features that aid in coding, you cannot use this notepad. Okay, so these are the simple steps that has to follow when you wanted to write a HTML code. Okay, okay, fine. So now let me tell you what are HTML tags. So these are very important. Okay, so we have to know about HTML tags to create an HTML program or HTML code. So actually, what are these HTML tags? So these tags are used to mark up the start of an HTML element. Okay, they are usually enclosed with the angle brackets. Say that this is the angle bracket. Okay, so they are enclosed with this angle brackets. And for example, I can give you some tag. So this is an example that I'm giving you here as H1. This is a tag. Okay, so this HTML tags are usually enclosed in angle brackets, and an example that I've given here is this. And most tags must be opened and closed in order to function. So this is the way how we open the tag. Okay, so this is the way how we open tag, and we have to close the tag. Wherever we open the tag, we have to open the tag, close the tag. So we use the same angle bracket and we use the slash symbol to close the tag. This is how we close the tag. This is closing the tag. Okay, so what are HTML tags? So these are the markup that start of an HTML element, and they are usually enclosed with angle brackets, and the example is I've given here, which is used to open, and most tags must be opened and closed in order to function. Okay, so these are the HTML tags. So now we have to know what are HTML attributes. Okay, so attributes contains additional piece of information. That is, attributes takes the form of an opening tag and additional information is placed inside. Say for example, here I have just given the tag, an open tag and a close tag, where this attribute is something that which I give a additional information. Say for example, I'm just giving you I'll just tell you that this is an additional information. Okay, attribute is an additional information. So for example, I just wanted to write H1 BG color equal to red. Okay, so here I have given something where this is a tag with additional information. I'm telling that the background color has to be red. So here instance that I've given here is this is a tag with additional information, background color equal to red. So always the attribute has to be passed with an equal to and with a quote symbol. So attribute, and this is the attribute name. Attribute consists of two things. One is attribute name and the attribute value. So it can be inside a tag, there can be multiple attributes, and these are defined only with a single space. This has to be remembered always. This is a rule that inside a particular tag I can have multiple attributes, and the attribute consists of an attribute, what is that, attribute name and then attribute value, and it can have more than one attribute. For example, this is background equal to red, and I'm giving this as align equal to left. Okay, so this is one attribute and this is one attribute where these both are differentiated with a space, which is very important. So I can have one more attribute just giving a space, one single space. Okay, so these are the attributes. So uh, uh, to have a golden rules to remember of today's class, the vast majority of tags must be open tag and close tag with element information such as title or text resting between the tags. When using multiple tags, the tags must be closed in order in which they were opened. Okay, so if I'm opening multiple tags, it has to be closed and only then the next tag has to be opened. Okay, so this is all about today's class. So today we have seen the basics and the introductory part of HTML. So let's dive deeper into our sessions in the next session classes. Thank you.